master teacher and intuitive, and today we have a special healing session. It is all about removing stress and anxiety. So if you're new to the community, welcome, 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 babies. This is your nightly self-care routine, a place where you just take care of yourself and you do self-care things and you just do what you need to do when you need to do what you need to do at the time that you're doing that. So if you're new, welcome. You're my new babies, and if you're returning, welcome, welcome back. Mama loves you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We start our session off with a prayer. It's not a religious prayer. It's just a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, to have your permission to say a prayer. Okay. Inhale. Exhale. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. So just start by breathing. And we're going to go with the stress first. It's okay to let go of the things that you just don't care about anymore. The things that you don't need anymore. Things that used to stress you out. They don't have to stress you out anymore. So I let you just work all around you. Just release each bit. Letting go of a little bit more each time. Just balancing your energy here. And don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of you going on a new journey or adventure, or you realizing something new about yourself. Are you having to dedicate the energy to something that you want to see to grow? Don't be afraid. Just exhale, release. Just allow everything respond in ways that maybe aren't the way that you want to respond. But you get to choose. So no matter how uncomfortable you feel, you always have the choice. You get to choose. And then you'll notice that when you're able to choose what you would prefer, over time, you don't feel as uncomfortable as you may have felt before. Sometimes things just pop up to send a message, and messages, they aren't always just, oh, it feels so good. It has an array of feelings within a message, and so don't internalize the feelings. Just interpret the message and go about your business. Like when I meet people that I know I'm supposed to meet, I always get this feeling of like peace, anxiety, excitement, nervousness, just different feelings for the people when I know I'm supposed to meet somebody. And what I realize is in that moment, I'm like, I don't feel none of these things. I'm chilling, right? Like, I don't feel any of these things. But I'm connecting into what they are feeling. And so needing to separate the two. Needing to be able to, okay, so that's what they're feeling. And, okay, this is what I feel most of the time. And being able to understand, okay, I can't judge them for that feeling. And sometimes we feel nervous or excited or anxious or upset, and it really has nothing to do with anybody else. A lot of times we'll feel that way, and it's just because that's how we have been programmed to handle things. It's okay, because once the interaction gets going, everyone feels relaxed, and it's okay, and it starts to subside. And a lot of beautiful messages come from the experience on both sides. I get to learn a lot from those opportunities to be, in community and in collective. And I have to assume that when people pick up on my energy, it's just a resounding don't give a fuckness. I'm very like, it is what it is. It's just and I hope that helps people to feel more comfortable. I try not to take things too serious. I'm a serious person, but I try not to project this seriousness onto other people. Like, we got our own stuff, to deal with. We don't need each other's stuff on top of that, which is something that I hope is being received in the messages of this community. It's okay. Feelings are okay. I've described it many times as feelings being the paint and our lives being the canvas, and the feelings are the colors. So even if gray is a feeling of sadness, that gray against black, against white, against red, against yellow, against orange, that starts to make a beautiful picture. All of the pain ends up being beautiful art. And I think we all can relate to that. Now, let's go with the anxiety. So, simply put, anxiety is just when you're worrying about things you can't control. You're worrying about the future. So, you feel very anxious about, for perhaps, I have to meet this person, or I have to go to this place, or I have to do this thing. Versus depression, which is ruminating on the past, staying stuck in a time period behind you. I'm sure that those things can overlap. Bringing up an older memory might cause anxiety in that moment. Or, you go into a situation or experience that you're not feeling, and it can cause a bit of depression on varying levels, whether it is the normal discomfort that we feel, or once it gets to more situations and have a certain set of circumstances that they have to face. And so, with this anxiety, let's just remove the requirement of you having to have all the answers. It's okay. You do not have to have all the answers. And on top of that, you not having the answers, even if you're going into an unknown situation, is okay. You will be able to problem solve enough in order to figure out what you need at that time. You will be able to figure out, because up until this point in your life, you've been able to figure out everything 100% of the time you're here. So don't forget, just because you're in a moment of discomfort, that you don't have that ability. You definitely do have that ability. That ability is within you at all times, and you're allowed to jump in and really invoke and embody all of that. So let's just move this through. And sometimes it's just learning how to process energy. There's this feeling sometimes of, oh, I don't ever want to be upset, or I don't ever want to be uncomfortable. And that creates a whole new environment in which people, are setting unrealistic circumstances for themselves. It's okay. You will be disappointed. You will be stagnant. You will be happy. You will be excited. You will be motivated. You're going to be all of these things. And all of these things are a part of the human experience, a part of the life experience. So sit with them at each, time in the road. And also, think about what you can control. You can control how you view the situation, and you can control the actions you take. And if those are the things that you can control, regardless of what's happening in your life, you can decide how you feel about it. You can. If you're uncomfortable by something, you're like, I just feel discomfort. But I understand that, this is not a new phenomenon. This has happened to other people before. I'm gonna make my way through it, and I'm gonna just do my best. And these are the actions I'm gonna take to help build myself up at the time. Just taking out that anxiety, that nervousness, that need to please, that need to be perfect. And a big reason why people feel like they need to be perfect, at least in modern days. I'm sure there was other reasons in other times, but in modern days, is everything is so available. All the information about a person is available, and one move that you make that might be seen as could be taken and kind of placed in a really uncomfortable position. You don't get an opportunity to learn from your mistakes. It's like instantly you're just kind of put up and shunned. And that can be for actual things that any person really should know better and they should do better, but it also can be for just regular things too. Like, I don't know, something that is not really even that big of a deal. But if you care what people say when it comes to something that is not really that big of a deal, that can really kind of go very deep inside of you. There's nothing that you can do to prevent someone from having some type of say about you. Look, I have an entire community in which my intention is for people to see their strength and their happiness and their light, and for them to see that they have the power, and people will still have something to say about me. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, go on in life. Keep moving, And not everything that someone, because my love language is words of affirmation. So I had to learn over time that not everything that somebody says is worth you having an emotional response to. In fact, or this is from my perspective, you choose to do with it as you will. I like to look at it from the perspective of, I choose to have emotional responses for the people that I care about. I choose to save that for them versus those that, I don't feel that way for. They're going to say whatever it is that they need to say, But that has nothing to do with me. They don't get to and they're not getting the fuel or the attention that they want, they'll go somewhere to get it, you know. And sometimes who you are can challenge a person, can make them feel some type of way. And I had to learn that in life. It's funny. I don't think that I learned that within the social media world. I feel like I learned that in my everyday life, that showing up just as you are can really cause people to be inspired or to be jealous or to be upset or to be confused or to be, especially when you're in the esoteric wellness space. That is definitely an area that will instantly charge people's energy. But with all that said, that is not my responsibility to make them feel better. It is my responsibility to make myself feel better, to be responsible for my own actions, and to not project onto to others. So that's okay. Give yourself a day off. Give yourself a day off from caring. You know who you are in your heart. You know what you represent. You know the light that you bring. And people will see it after you have really put yourself out there, regardless of what people have said. And then people will see it. And they'll go, oh, I always believed in you. You know, it's like, okay. I had a friend one time that I said I wanted, when I was real young, I said I wanted to do something, like there was something that, like hobby I wanted to do full time, and they were like, you can't do that. 2 or 3 years later, showing up to my house asking for the service that I was doing at the time, and I'm just like, the lack of self-awareness is that for me, like, you know. And that's also a time in my life where I started to learn, okay, nah. There's a certain type of energy of people I can be around, a certain type of energy of people I cannot be around. And I totally understand I am not everybody's cup of tea. And because I honor that, I also give myself an opportunity to know that not everybody is my cup of tea. It is okay. It's okay. We're gonna find our tea sets. Well, family, I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope it helped with anxiety, and I hope it helped with stress, and I hope you see that it's normal to feel uncomfortable from time to time. That's completely okay. But you have more power. You have more strength.